Stop! Don't you waive that inspection contingency, not without watching this whole video. So you're thinking about making an offer with no inspection contingency. Yeah, I don't really recommend that. But some of you are on your 8th, 9th offer this year, and you are tired of losing great houses in multiple offer situations because your offer is just not competitive enough. I get it, but don't just make an offer with no inspection contingency, bury your head in the sand and hope for the best. At least try to be very, very strategic about that decision. I recommend that all buyers hire a licensed home inspector when buying a home. When I'm representing buyers and they've gotten to the point of asking about inspection waivers, I at least get them to try to consider a pre-inspection walk and talk with the seller's permission. My buyers can hire a licensed inspector who will quickly walk them through the property's big ticket items and major repairs and give them a good understanding of what they would face when they buy that house. That way, they can make a clean offer with no inspection contingency because they've already done it. In fact, in some hot sellers markets, buyers have hired inspectors for the entire day and take that inspector along with them to that day's showings. So what are some of the pros and cons associated with a pre-inspection? Well, they're usually faster and cheaper than a regular inspection, and it will give you really good peace of mind that you already know what the major issues are with that house, so you can submit a clean offer quickly. What are some of the cons? The smaller but still important items are usually not focused on. There's no report written, so you gotta take really good notes and pay attention. And you're paying for an inspection on a home you don't even have under contract yet. So there's a possibility another buyer just comes along and makes a better offer and waives inspection anyway, and you don't get the bid. Buyers have been left very frustrated this year. It is maddening. So what's a buyer to do? What can I do to compensate as a buyer's agent? Huge disclaimer, I am not a home inspector, and usually buyer's agents are not licensed home inspectors. However, as in all things, I try to give my clients the best information from which to make their decisions. I follow a lot of home inspectors around in my career, and I've learned to bring along my bag of tricks to every showing. What's in that bag, Joie? Of course you're gonna ask that. Well, I bring along tools that will help me determine if there are major problems with the house and to give the buyer a better sense of whether or not they should be concerned or if this might be a reasonable house that they should consider waiving inspection on. I bring along an electrical outlet tester, a moisture meter, and even a bright headlamp. I'm looking to see if I can determine the age of these systems. I go in the attic if there's access, and I try my best to check out the plumbing in the house under each sink and in every basement. Now, there are several things that I cannot do because this is just a showing. It's not an inspection, and I have not gotten permission from the sellers to do an inspection. We're just looking at things and trying to gather as much information as possible. My buyers have to understand that there are several things that I have not checked. I have not taken the cover off of the electrical panel. I have not gone into every attic, and I have definitely not even tested every electrical outlet. Some of the things that I do for my buyers during the showings is just based on common sense. I try to wear socks so that I can see if there's moisture in the basement somewhere. Those socks are getting wet. There's nothing worse than wet socks, but that will tell you right there that there's a wet basement we should be concerned about. Other things that we look at the dates on the water heater, the date on the HVAC, and we try to get an idea of how long before those things have to be replaced. After all of that, if my clients still decide that they want to make their offer as competitive as possible and waive inspection, I still recommend that if they win that bid, they get a home inspection after they settle. Why would I do that? Because a home inspection is more than just finding out what's wrong with the house today. The home inspection is about learning about that house, and that written report will be something you can refer back to in the next couple of years when you have questions about what the inspector said about the roof. How long do I have to budget for that? In the next 5 years, do I have to replace it? The water heater, the HVAC, where's the water main shut off? When do I need to turn off the outside hose bibs to avoid frozen pipes? You need to learn about your house to avoid big problems in the future. So what's the moral of the story, Joie? Well, if you feel like you just can't get an offer accepted in your market without waiving the inspection contingency to make your offer more competitive, at least be smart and strategic about which homes you're bypassing inspection on. And number 2, get yourself a savvy buyer's agent who can do more for you than just open up the front door.